you know, there's a story or point of view or something that I wish was in the movie, and I was curious to know from people who were on the panel, what was unsaid that you would like for us to know that may have not made it into the movie.
Thanks a lot, brothers, for your compliments. We really appreciate that. I would just like to say that's left out in this version because the movie is not 100% finished yet, but that is going to be fit right in here is that one of the Steiner brothers, Watani Steiner, turned himself back into San Quentin. And he turned himself back in because while he was on the run, he fathered some children out of the country and they were living in poverty. So he turned himself back in and made a deal with the United States government that his children could come back here. And I've talked to him extensively on the telephone from prison. I've tried to record the conversations, but strangely enough, only when he calls collect, there's a serious buzz on any line. So it's coming from their end because I tried on various phones. So he did turn himself in, and I mean, obviously, he probably wasn't working for the FBI if he turned himself back in. But it did seem that with the investigation that he and I have both done, he feels like his friend Tawala was probably working for the FBI, and something with him starting that argument with Elaine. You know, she says it was a get your hand out of my pocket moment, you know, referring to when Malcolm X was murdered. So that will be in the film once we can get to San Quentin, the interview with Tani Steiner. That piece will be in there.
All right, to answer your question about the L.A. chapter, if you have to go back in time a little bit, and Huey had gotten out of jail, and well, I was a young boy then, but to tell you a secret, I said you need to blow him away. But I was so young, wouldn't nobody listen to me. So, but Huey, in my opinion, he got hooked in the jailhouse. And when he came out, he started calling himself the Supreme Commander. Then he set up a goon squad that would attack people that had a different aspect. And at this time, Eldridge Cleaver was in Algeria, Eldridge and Kathleen. And this, by the friendship that Bunchy and Eldridge had, this was always our avenue to express our grievances was back through Eldridge Cleaver. So Huey started consolidating power, and we all felt it. Then he started saying he was the Supreme Commander. Then at that point, Geronimo and a lot of the Panthers that were on bail at that time left. They jumped bail. And that was the beginning of the Black Liberation Army. I couldn't go because my mother bailed me out. And she would have lost the house and whooped me. So I had to stay. I couldn't go to Geronimo. So I had to stay. So anyway, I was still here in L.A. and I had kind of disassociated myself from the party. And at that point, they sent the goon squad out to see me. And they attacked me out in Watts. And it didn't work out too well for them. But, you know, we got by that. And then at that point, I told them that I didn't want to see no Black Panthers east of Central Avenue. I said, I don't want to see them. You know, if you come across Central, then you got an issue. And then beyond that, you know, they crossed Geronimo and Roland down in Texas and got them busted. And then they expelled Eldridge and the people in New York on trial out of that section. So we all backed off from the Black Panthers. That became Huey's gang. And it was not the Black Panther Party at that time. So there was no remorse. The only remorse was they had the newspaper and the money so they could put their view out. And what I learned in struggle and in that going down is that the soldiers, the real soldiers, never strive for recognition or credibility. So when these moves go down, they're always out of pocket because they're generally working on the side of the people, and they don't put themselves in that money-grubbing, ego-tripping power mode. And other people that strive for those positions are not really real. And they move to take over the organization, and then people start to stay away. So it was very tragic that Huey himself destroyed the party, but by the same token, that was not the same Huey that started the party. I've got to give credit where credit is due. And Huey Newton was a very powerful man. This is why they busted Huey Newton and separated him from all his people where they could exploit his weakness. And this is COINTELPRO. Yeah. This is COINTELPRO. So they killed Huey Newton and killed the party. That's the end of that.
I want to just give you a little visual because I was out of the country and I came back when was the trial for the shootout? Was it 71? I came back, and by this time there had been a series of expulsions in the party, and so you have to go through all the metal detectors, etc. They have so much security that ordinary people don't even want to come to the trial. You go through all the security, you come in, you sit in the courtroom, it's bailiffs, very, very armed, very tense, and here the brothers who were in the shootout are in blue, which is prison clothes. They're going to trial from prison, and the other Panthers, or the Huey Newton Panthers, they all got the latest clothes and the long hair. They look like dandies out of, what is that, Superfly. They just look embarrassing. They're calling themselves the Panthers. So what you have here is a situation in which you can see who's a revolutionary and who's not. And the revolutionaries were all being expelled and run out and denounced, etc. And these people, we in Atlanta, in Algeria, we began to refer them as the Peralta Street Gang, because that's what their office. So you had the revolutionary movement disbanded and destroyed, and this is extraordinarily difficult and painful because everyone came together collectively to put this movement in place. But then there's some people who want to use it to their benefit and take it as personal property, and then they've lost that revolutionary momentum. And that affected everyone in this organization, and it was particularly intense in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and Algiers, which is the international section, was just excluded.
Dr. Scott, before you speak, we're running out of time.